The New York Jets are heading into Week 15 of the NFL season with an away game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams started the year with playoff hopes, but now find themselves at 3-10, making this game significant for determining the top 10 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. In an effort to end their four-game losing streak, quarterback Aaron Rodgers made his regular appearance on the Pat McAfee Show on ESPN Tuesday afternoon. The four-time NFL MVP criticized the network and commented on how sports media has evolved during his career. "The sports center of my youth made highlights so much fun, and that's what they focused on," Rodgers remarked. "Now it's all talk shows with people whose opinions are considered so important, and they believe they're celebrities." Rodgers further stated that these individuals who are not memorable from their playing careers have sports opinions that are unfounded or absurd. Following his segment, several ESPN personalities responded, including NFL analyst Mina Kimes and commentator Stephen A. Smith. However, former Pittsburgh Steelers safety Ryan Clark delivered the most forceful rebuttal during ESPN's First Take program on Friday. Rodgers regularly appears on the Pat McAfee Show on Tuesdays, and this week was no exception. During the segment, his former Green Bay Packers teammate turned analyst A.J. Hawk asked how the NFL has changed over Rodgers' 20-year career. Rodgers argued that the most significant change is how the sport is covered by the media. "There are many people discussing the game now, both non-former players and former players trying to remain relevant fame-wise," Rodgers said. "The takes and criticism are different than they were in the mid-2000s. Rodgers clarified that he wasn't referring to the show's host, Pat McAfee, who spent 8 years in the NFL as a punter before starting his show. McAfee was a Pro Bowl selection in 2014 and 2016, and was a first-team All-Pro in 2014. "I'm talking about these experts on TV whom nobody remembers from their careers," Rodgers said. "To stay relevant, they make comments that keep them in the conversation. That wasn't happening in 2008 or 2009, it was non-existent." He acknowledged that those shows, along with gambling and fantasy football, have increased interest in the sport, leading to higher salaries for players. He also argued that the league now has better athletes with a less violent game, but a lower overall football IQ due to reduced practice time during the offseason. McAfee didn't press Rodgers to name specific individuals on talk shows who deserve his criticism. Instead, he continued discussing Rodgers' point about lower football IQ, referencing longtime NFL quarterback Tom Brady's argument that coaches simplify the game for rookie quarterbacks to play as soon as possible. Rodgers' criticism of sports media became a topic on First Take for several days, culminating in Clark's response on Friday morning. "I find it extremely amusing that he's saying this on a show with a man who, as great as he was as a punter, is far more famous as a pundit in Pat McAfee," Clark said. "A.J. Hawk, whom I felt was a good player, is now on TV and shares his thoughts too." Clark continued by stating that Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever, but is no longer at that level, and people are willing to say it on national broadcasts. Clark argued that Rodgers is now doing exactly what he criticizes others for, noting that Rodgers is being paid for his appearances on McAfee's show. "My issue with him is you're doing the exact same thing," Clark said. "And the reason you're getting this opportunity to say these absurd things is because someone is paying you who is exactly what you're now speaking out against." McAfee confirmed that Rodgers has earned over $1 million for his segments. "This dude is once again tone deaf," Clark continued. "This dude is once again unaware. This dude is once again arrogant to a point that's almost sickening because he says these things and talks tough, but isn't." Clark described Rodgers as a fraud who excels at throwing a football but lacks substance beyond that talent. He criticized Rodgers for being blatantly hypocritical. Cam Newton, the 2015 NFL MVP, who is now a commentator on First Take, agreed with Clark's criticism, and added that Rodgers is not accustomed to being in a position where his team's record and individual statistics don't make him one of the top quarterbacks in the league. "It's awkward for him," Newton said. "Hypocritical is the best analogy for it.